Hey guys, I just hit 25,000 subscribers, so congratulations to me. And thank you to everybody who watches, who made it possible. I sound like I have an Oscar in my hand. I'm doing, guess what, another Q&A to commemorate the occasion, and a lot of you guys asked me questions, a lot of them really good, so let's just get started on them. I've heard some people say that the more movies you watch, the less movies you enjoy. Do you agree with that? Why or why not? Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I think that's just the same for anything. You know, if you are innocent or you don't have a lot of knowledge about a particular subject, yeah, you're naturally going to be more excited because you're not familiar with it. Things are going to seem new to you, and you're going to be much more in the moment in terms of your reaction to it. And yeah, the more that you know about something, naturally the more that you can break it down, the more that things start to become more formulaic, or you can see the strings for everything. And I think there is something really beautiful to not having some great knowledge, some academic knowledge about something. I always actually really admire a lot of the musicians like Kurt Cobain, who said he never wanted to become a great virtuosic guitarist or musician because he felt that it would kind of ruin that childlike excitement for it. And I think for somebody like that, that was the thing to do. I do have friends who they don't want to live in my shoes, and they don't want to have all of that knowledge for movies. And yeah, I totally understand why, because yes, it's different when I watch a movie compared to how they watch a movie. And yes, it's very hard to impress me comparatively. That being said, in defense of myself, even though it may not naturally be as enjoyable, when a movie is really, really, really great, I think that it's more of an advantage to me because I've seen so many movies and I have such an analytical brain that if one kind of breaks through that, transcends it, and I'm really in the moment and I forget all of that, that's real power. And I think somebody like me is going to be more willing to appreciate that in different ways than somebody who doesn't have that knowledge. So I think, even though, yeah, there are some drawbacks, there is a sacrifice to the way that I watch films, but also I think there are things that you can gain from it in others. What is your favorite performance by a kid actor? That's easy. I would say Alexei Kravchenko from Come and See. Hi, huge fan. As a YouTube film reviewer that does more detailed and in-depth videos on more art house, less mainstream films, do you find it harder to break into the mainstream YouTube and gain as large of a following as other YouTube film reviewers? Also, what is your opinion of popular YouTube film review channels? I personally like some of them, but feel that most barely scratch the surface. Yeah, I'll answer the first question first. Absolutely, it's harder to break into the mainstream. You guys know, my channel is not very big at all. It's compared to a lot of the bigger ones, like the Chris Stuckmans out there. And yeah, I'm very aware of that. I've always been aware of that. I'm somebody who really feels like, I need to remain true to myself as much as possible. Yes, I compromise. Yes, I will review something that's more topical on occasion, but that's not the thing I focus on. It's not to just, gain a million subscribers in a day. I find doing kind of like a give and take, maybe review something that is more popular and more kind of trending, and then review something more kind of niche and more art house and, something that I more prefer. But I do kind of feel like in order to keep my motivation for this, I need to stick to who I am. And who I am is more exploring films that are more obscure. And your second question here, you're asking me my opinion on those popular mainstream YouTube channels. I have nothing against those people. I wish them well, but it's not particularly my taste. That's not my type of movie review that I like. Most of the mainstream ones I've seen, I don't watch a lot of it. I really on purpose try to remain ignorant to it, and I kind of just stick to my own thing. But what I have seen hasn't really impressed me, and most of the things that a lot of the movie reviewers say, I feel like anybody could say. And so that's just not particularly interesting to me, but I'm glad for their successes because clearly, they're doing something right, and that should be acknowledged, I truly believe. What do you wish you were asked more often? Ooh, now that is an excellent question. I don't know if I have something really specific to say, but I will say I like to be asked questions that are not movie related. I have no problem answering the movie related questions, but it's just, I get them all the time. And of course, in my personal life, it's different. But on here, understandably, because I am the movie girl, I get a lot of movie questions all the time. And I like it when somebody kind of gives me a break from that and asks me something a little bit different, something fun, or even something deep. Because there's a lot more to me than, the movies that I review and what I say about them. And as far as the movie questions, I just get the same ones over and over and over again all the time. So, I just like that there's a little more variety when people ask different questions. Your thoughts on the woke culture that's rapidly infecting the entertainment industry. Yeah, that's a very depressing topic and something that is terrifying to me and deeply disturbing, especially how much people downplay it, I think, is the disturbing thing. And the irony with the whole like woke movement in Hollywood is they think they're so virtuous and they think they're these like white knights, and really no, I mean, if anything, they're much more conformists than they think they are, and a lot more pseudo-intellectual than they think they are. And yeah, you know, if anything, I really try not to talk too much about politics on here or anywhere really, but you know, I do think it's important to remind people to get some perspective and to stop blindly following one thing, because how else are you ever going to grow unless you're constantly questioning things? And I feel like, you know, a lot of the woke culture, they're kind of blindly following a movement without considering the repercussions of it, truly. Is life without art viable but unbearable? Oh, that's a really good question. I think it's hard to answer because, I mean, I don't know, we don't know. And the idea of art, you know, that's kind of a subjective thing. I mean, anything can be art. You know, art can be in the literal sense, like, you know, painting or singing. That is considered an artistic thing. But I see art in all kinds of ways. A sunset is art to me. You know, I see like a boxing match that is really beautiful and balletic to me. That can be art. I'm horrendous at anything that's like math or science, but I watch great scientists and mathematicians and like these formulas they create, and it's like they're creating color through formula. I think, you know, so there's art in any sort of way you want to look at it. But I think I know what you mean, and like, yeah, I can't imagine living in a world where we didn't have that, you know? Like, I think it's very important that we focus on survival first and foremost, you know? And that's why I think it's very important to honor people like nurses and doctors and firefighters. Survival is paramount. But that being said, once you survive, art is what makes that life worth living. And without that, you know, sometimes I wonder, what is the point? Art is that chance to invite emotion and expression, all of the things that we need in life. But yeah, I think maybe, you know, life would be just a lot shorter. I don't think people would have the will to keep going for as long if there wasn't some sort of artistic component to it. But that's a really hard question, a really good one. I know that you don't like Hans Zimmer, but is there at least one score that you like? Oh, that's a great question. I love this question. Thank you so much. I might actually just do a separate topic video on this entirely and my whole thought process when it comes to Hans Zimmer. But yeah, no, there's certainly Hans Zimmer scores that I like. One that I always really, really loved, and I still love it to this day, and anytime I need to get like pumped or something, I will listen to it. The soundtrack to Gladiator. I think it's really great. I think it, you know, it has a lot of the kind of like the bombastic, over the top, kind of brassy quality to it that is perfect for those big gladiator movies, and it is kind of a more modern take on something you might have seen or like might have heard from like an orchestral score in like Ben-Hur or Spartacus. Certainly not as good as something that like Alex North would do, but I really, really enjoy it, and I've listened to it so many times. I mean, it was something that my dad really loved, and we would blast it in the car as a kid. And honestly, you know, I've always questioned a lot of, you know, Hans Zimmer's taste when it comes to instrumentation and all of that, but I think it works to his advantage in a film like The Rock by Michael Bay. I love the score to that film. It's just so just machismo, guilty pleasure, ridiculousness with like the electric guitars. It's pure dad rock. And you know, a lot of like Hans Zimmer instrumentation does remind me kind of dad rock. It's just fun. It gets you pumped. It makes me laugh. I really enjoy it. I'm really less of a fan of his later stuff. I just felt like he started really phoning it in after a certain point, but I like the score to Interstellar. Naturally, I still feel like it's too overbearing, it's too weighted down to really have the breadth of composition be appreciated. But I will say it was a better attempt from him in the later part of his career. More fully formed, there was more thought put into it, and I love the organs. I'm a big fan of organs, and this kind of had that feeling of like Holt's The Planets or something like that. So yeah, you know, I don't dislike every single Hans Zimmer score. I even, you know, I think there are parts of The Lion King that are really, really brilliant. Other parts maybe less so, but he's done a lot of work over the years, and not all of it bad to me. So there you go. There are some scores that I like by Hans Zimmer. Chopin or Rachmaninoff? I'm gonna have to go Rachmaninoff. I have learned to have more appreciation for Chopin in the last few years. Chopin is probably, I want to say, one of my dad's favorite composers as an example. But yeah, I gotta go Rachmaninoff personally. If you were in charge of the Oscars or the Golden Globes and were tasked with boosting the declining ratings, what would you do? I wouldn't. I would cancel them because no one gives a shit and everybody hates Hollywood, and maybe if we did that, they would recognize how out of touch they are and that we are more laughing at them and not with them. Why you no post more singing videos? You are very good. Please sing. Okay, yes sir. I don't know. I think it's just depends on when I just have time to sit around and sing songs. And also, you know, that's kind of scary to do when you know a lot of people are watching. But yeah, just like anything, I need to really be compelled to do it. I try to sing every day to keep my voice up, but you know, sometimes I'll just hear a song and be like, ooh, I want to cover that. And lately there have been a couple that I've been thinking about doing, and maybe I will share them. We'll see about that. But I'll try to do more. I'll try to do more in the future for Instagram and such. But yeah, those are just a few questions. And again, thank you so much, all of you guys, for supporting me, for writing in the questions. I really do enjoy reading them. I enjoy conversing with a lot of you. But that is the video. I will start this time by saying, if you are into art and you like to support starving artists such as myself, I am an artist and I do commission portraits, and I also sell original prints of my work, and all of that is under deepfocuslens.com. If you want a commission or you have any questions about it, you can certainly email me. I have my email below and I'm happy to answer any questions for you. But beyond that, here are my Patreon supporters. You guys have been wonderful. I've really enjoyed conversing with you throughout the last few months that I've been doing this, so we'll do more of that. And of course, if you are interested in becoming a patron, there is a link for that below as well. And all of my social media information is below that. You can watch more videos here, and you can subscribe if you'd like. Catch you next time.